Hey everybody, and welcome to TekFlow for Construction, brought to you by Zentek Consultants. TekFlow for Construction is a recurring videocast where we talk about the best tech practices and procedures that we've been implementing for Zentek clients, ones that we think everybody should be looking to include in their own workflows.
I am Jim Coppinger. I'm a principal here at Zentek Consultants. And today I want to talk about controlling user access to your projects. So, one of the big things I've talked about in previous sessions of this VCast is the necessity of kind of moving your data out into the cloud, right? Moving your projects out where you can access the information on your construction jobs from anywhere, any place, anytime. And that's hugely important. But, a legitimate concern that comes up with that, how do you keep people from accessing data that they're not supposed to have, right? How do you make sure, that you don't have the wrong people logging in, that your competitor is not jumping in to be able to see, what your prices are and what your costs are, that you don't have, junior level staff looking at budgetary or payment options that they should, right? You want to make sure that only the right people are getting onto your jobs. And that's really a very good thing in that that's, fully realized by all of we're going to talk today about, we'll call them the big three of construction management, right? We're going to talk about Bluebeam, Procore, and Autodesk Construction Cloud. And the great thing is that all three of these systems all have the capacity and the understanding that what you're going to have to do is make sure that only the correct people are accessing your jobs, right? So the first thing that I'm going to do here is jump over into Bluebeam Review. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to open up one of my projects, right? I'll just open up an example project here and show you how very easy it is to be able to go in and just control exactly who can and who cannot access your job. The good thing about all of these systems is that by default, the developers realize that you want to keep security. You want to only have certain people accessing this data. So by default, nobody has access to your jobs, right? The people who originate and create the projects to start off with are the only ones who are going to have access to your project, right? You have to go in and you have to manually select and approve the people that you want to have access to your job. This way, people can't just randomly get your link or randomly find a connection in here and get into your project. So, for example, here in Bluebeam, if I want to go in, what I have to do is I have to go up to my project settings, and I have to go to my user access tab. Right? And you see that here I can see, who's already joined the job, who's working on a particular project. And I can go in here and I have a little simple checkbox here that allows me to restrict users. And what this will do is keep anybody, even internal company users, from accessing this project unless I directly add them. So it gives you the ability, like I said, to take junior staff where you don't want seeing budgetary information or job costing concerns from even accessing a job. But I can go in here and I can undo that, and that way I can let individual users in my company work that. And all I have to do to add users here is hit this plus sign, and I can just either copy and paste or type in individuals' email addresses. So I can email and select individual people who I want to join my job. And what's really nice about this is that I can also go in here and I have this ability to go in and pre-create groups. And this is a pretty common item that we're going to talk about in all three of these systems, that we can go in and we can create predefined groups. So you see here I can build my electrical consultant in their group, and who's in there, and my Zentek users, and who's the design staff, and who are general users, and who are read-only access users. I can create groups, and I can just go in and I can just select the group, and you see it'll add anybody who's not already there that's part of that group, so that I can very easily go in here and check with everybody and see exactly what people have joined, which people have not joined. I can email them reminders and give them access. They'll get an email with a link to this, and that same concept is going to follow through, right, with the other major construction management systems. So here I got Procore open, for example, and here in Procore, I can really set user access at two levels here, right? I can set a company-wide directory or a list of people who we work with all the time. So I can set everybody in my own company plus outside consultants and architects and engineers, and I can give them general access, or I can go down at the project level and I can set access there for individual jobs. So, to start with, I can just go in and at the executive level, at the company level, I can just go into the general directory right? And when I get into the general directory, that's where I'm going to go in and I'm going to add in all the people who I want to, give access to multiple jobs, right? All the people in my own company, architects and engineers and subs and so on, and clients that we work with all the time, right? And then I can go into any of these people and I can go in and I can do a number of different things. I can edit all their information, but most importantly, you see that down here, I can apply all of the specific permissions that I want them to have, right? And a lot more than that, right? But it's a very easy thing for me to go in and add the data for who can access projects at a company level. But I can also go down and I can do exactly the same thing if I want to go down to a specific job. You see that I'll have a directory at that same the same type, but at the project level, so that in here I can go in, right, and I can go to the project level directory tools. Now I can go in and I can add people, right? And it's as simple as adding users or adding full companies who have access to just this job. So if there are certain trades or contractors or maybe just the client for this one project, I can add them here so they have access only to the specific projects here. Right? Same exact thing when I get over into Autodesk Construction Cloud. I got kind of the same structure. I can go in under the account admin setup, right? And under the account admin, I can go in and I can add in members who are company-wide members. Again, people who are going to have access to multiple jobs. I'm going to assign them to multiple projects, people we work with all the time. Or I can go back and I can go in at the specific project level. So if I go down and I go to a specific job, you see I'll have the same ability here to go in and add members to this specific project. Right? So I can go in and add members who will only have access to the job that I'm currently under. And that's really the basic concept of how we work with accessing or giving access rather to different individuals on both a company-wide and a project level basis within our construction management system. It's a really, really important way to work and structure. It gives you an incredible amount of control and a great sense of security, I think, to know that people can't just randomly get to data, until you've actually assigned them the ability to do that. Right? And those are the kind of things that we like to talk about here on TekFlow for construction. Hopefully it gives you a little bit more comfort of mind when you're talking about moving all your construction data and your construction management functionality out into the cloud. All right, folks, we're going to bounce and we'll catch you next time on TekFlow for construction.